Hi everyone, Erica Desper of Confident Parenting. I wanted to pop on today to answer another one of the questions that was submitted on my Confident Parenting Facebook page. Today's question is from Sherry, and Sherry writes, "Hi, I made the mistake of co-sleeping and nursing my daughter to sleep. She's 5.5 months. Now she won't sleep anywhere but on my chest. I haven't been able to transfer into a crib. We did the modified Ferber method, but she just screams and screams. Any tips?" So Sherry, that's really hard. Thank you for your question. I know from experience that there are a lot of parents out there struggling with the same issues. First, let me start with, I don't like to say that sharing sleep in the same bed or nursing to sleep are mistakes. So that was your choice of words, not mine. Those things can work well and they can be beautiful. And sometimes that's a parenting choice or a parenting style. And as long as that scenario is safe and is working for the entire family, then I don't have anything to say about that. I am here to answer your question. It sounds like it's not working for you. And I'm a big fan of saying that, nothing's a problem unless it's a problem for you. So if you are co-sleeping with your baby, not you, Sherry, but anybody else, and nursing your baby to sleep, and that's working for you and you enjoy it, and you can, don't resent your baby, you can go get done what you need to get done, they're sleeping soundly enough, that's totally fine. We're not here to talk about that today. But if it is a problem for you, maybe it's not working so well anymore, maybe you feel super limited and you don't have time to do anything else, or you're just looking to transition into the crib, as you mentioned, then that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing I would say to you, Sherry, is take a look at the timing that you're using for sleep. So when we try to introduce something new to our babies or our children, and they kind of lose their mind and scream and scream and scream, the first thing I would think about is there a possibility that by the time we tried this new thing, my baby was already a little too tired to cope with it? So when you're nursing a baby to sleep or rocking or standing on your head, whatever it is you're doing to get your child to sleep, the timing might not matter so much because they have a lot of help to get to sleep. But when we're asking them to fall asleep in a new way, a different way, and particularly a way that doesn't offer as much help from you, like I'm going to put you down and step away and I'll be back in a few minutes, we really need to make sure that they are in their best capacity for coping. And if they're even a tad too tired, their coping skills are going to kind of plummet. So I would take a look at the timing. And if you think like, oh yeah, she was really yawning and rubbing her eyes and, I had to do X, Y, and Z, and then we got in there, that's the first thing. You could try again and try with earlier timing and see if she's better able to cope with the scenario. No method, whether it's Ferber or anything else we could come up with, is going to be easy and may not even be successful if your child is too tired to cope. So timing, as you probably heard me say over and over again, can kind of make or break everything that you're going to try to do. The next thing that I would consider or ask you to consider, Sherry, is maybe it was just too much of a contrast for your 5-month-old to go from nursing to sleep and falling asleep on your chest and then sharing sleep for the rest of the night to I'm going to put you down in a crib fully awake and I'm going to walk away. There's nothing wrong with the way that you approach that, but just based on her temperament and her age and what she's used to, the contrast might have been such a shock that she had that really intense reaction. So one thing you could consider is there maybe another approach that might be a better fit for the two of you and that could help you avoid those tears or at least minimize them, and maybe support whatever tears may come. So I'm a big fan, if you're willing to take a slightly slower path than the Ferber approach, I'm a big fan of trying gentle methods with our babies first and seeing if they can respond to that. If they can, that's wonderful. And it can save everybody a lot of drama and a lot of tears. And it can be a slower way to get her used to the way that you want her to sleep, but also kind of being respectful of what the way that she's accustomed to sleeping. So I'm a fan of the idea of trading down sleep associations. Right now, your baby associates sleep with the act of nursing. and also with closeness. I need to be physically on someone to get to sleep and to get back to sleep. So it may be helpful for both of you to work more slowly towards trading out those associations that she has, and also maybe breaking your goals down into smaller goals. What you were doing was trying to tackle both the goal of no longer nursing to sleep at the same time as introducing a new and separate place for sleep. And again, that is not wrong or bad. If that's the route you want to go, you certainly can. She'll just probably have a little bit more of an intense response. It'll be more of an intense process. But what you could consider doing is saying, first, I'm going to work on not having her nurse to sleep, but in this environment and location that we're both accustomed to. And once we've tackled that, then we're going to roll that success into, now we're going to shift this into your own space. So you could break those into two separate things. So going back to trading down sleep associations, you could go through a much slower process that might look like, in brief, because we only have a few minutes here. First, you could focus on, I'm not going to nurse you all the way to sleep anymore. I'm going to nurse you to calm, relaxed, maybe even drowsy, but that can be problematic for some babies. But when you're done actively nursing, I'm going to unlatch you if you haven't come off yourself, and I'm going to rock you to sleep instead. Excuse me. Will she like that? Maybe, but probably not. The thing about going a gentle route is that even though we are approaching this in a gentle way, we're still making a change, and your baby's going to notice that change, and she's probably not going to be thrilled with it. So it's gentle in that we're making the smallest change we can. However, that may not elicit a gentle response from your baby. The difference would be that you can be present with her and offer her a lot of help to get through that, to cope with that, rather than saying, I'll just put you down and you'll figure it out kind of thing. So realize that gentle methods don't always bring a gentle response from your baby, but in this approach, you could be there to help her through that. Sorry, I have some kind of tickle in my throat. So for example, you could stop nursing to sleep and focus on rocking to sleep, but still share sleep together. Then from there, you could stop rocking to sleep and just hold her. You want to get her used to falling asleep in a still environment in preparation for eventually shifting her to the crib and still sleep together. From there, you could progress to, all right, now you're not going to fall asleep physically on me. We've eliminated the nursing. We've eliminated the motion. Now you're going to fall asleep beside me, still super, super close, practically up against me, but not right on my chest. And I'm going to rub your belly, or depending on how your baby sleeps, rub your back. I'm going to pat the mattress. I'm going to make a shushing sound. We're still going to be really close together, but now we're going to get over the hump of you're next to me instead of on top of me. All of these changes seem like really small changes, but they will seem very big to your baby, but you really are getting closer and closer to the same eventual goal that you were working on before. Once you can get your baby drifting off next to you without the breast in her mouth, without being physically on top of you, that's when you could introduce her own separate sleep space. You could, for example, use a bassinet right next to your bed. You could pull up the crib and put it right next to your bed, either with the rail up or even with the rail down for babies who aren't mobile, if that would be safe, for your particular baby, so that, again, there's really not much distance between you. You're practically still on top of each other, but that gets you so much closer to the goal where you can start putting some distance between you, because now baby is falling asleep in the crib, but still with lots and lots of help from you. So you could, for example, walk through your same routine, and instead of being side by side on your bed, you're side by side with you on your bed and baby in her crib beside you. Some families even end up sidecarring the crib, where they remove the rail on the one side and safely attach the crib to the bed underneath. So you still are really sleeping together, but on two separate surfaces. And then later down the road, you could add the rail back, pop it up, still fall asleep beside each other. The rail is up, you can be reaching through. Again, you can be rubbing your baby's back, patting the mattress, all that good stuff. Again, it's not her preference, but you're slowly getting her used to the idea of a little more space between the two of you. Once you reach that point, you can start pushing the crib further and further away every few nights. Now I'm going to wean off all of the touching that I'm doing for you, and I'm just going to kind of lay quietly next to you while you drift off, and then I'm going to start putting a few feet between us every night or every few nights. And eventually that crib can end up in her room. When you do move the crib to her room, you could even sleep in there for a few nights if you need to kind of get her acclimated to the space, and then kind of pull yourself out once she's used to that. So that could be a different way to approach what you tried to approach before that would perhaps allow her to adjust to the differences a little more slowly. whichever route you decide to go, the last thing I would say to you, Sherry, and I'll wrap this video up, is that you want to be consistent. So your 5.5-month-old is smart enough to notice if one time you see something through to the end and another time you say, I don't have it in me. I'm not going to do this today. I'll just, I was trying for the crib, but I'm just going to pull you into the bed kind of thing. So if you really want to make a hard push for your baby to accept sleeping in the crib, it is going to mean that that has to be the only place that sleep happens. If she thinks that, oh, if I freak out when she puts me in the crib, she'll pull me back into the bed, unfortunately, she's just going to freak out as soon as you put her in the crib so that you bring her to the bed. So when you are ready to make that push for the crib, you really want that to be the designated space for sleep, and then decide how you feel comfortable helping your baby cope with that idea and not fall back on pulling her into the bed. She will just get confused, and you will find that the battle will probably increase rather than decrease. You also want to be consistent throughout the entire night. So what I don't see work very successfully is I'm going to help my baby fall asleep in the crib at bedtime, but come 3 a.m. when everything gets really hard and I know it's close to morning and I just want to get a few more hours of sleep, I'm going to pull her back into bed with me. And that's not to say that that doesn't work for some families. There are certainly babies out there that can roll with that. It's just not the safest path. Again, she may not understand why she has to start the night in the crib, but she can move to the bed later. That may confuse her, and she may think, well, why do I even have to start there then? And again, that can cause her to have a lot of anxiety surrounding the crib, and it'll just be a more problematic process for you guys. Sometimes at 5 months, they're a little more flexible, but for anyone with older babies that is watching this video, it's really, really important to treat the whole night the same, even those early morning tricky hours. So hopefully, Sherry and the rest of you that might be trying to fix the same issue, reach the same goals, you found that a little bit helpful. Take a peek at your timing, see if you can trade down some sleep associations that your child has, introduce the crib in a more gradual, supportive way, and definitely be consistent with bedtime through the entire night. Hopefully that helps. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer, feel free to post it in the comments below or on my Confident Parenting Facebook page, and maybe I will pick yours next. Thanks, and have a great day, everybody.